Alrighty, hello and welcome to my Theory to Practice project. I'm Lauren, and this is something that I have used to reflect on my practicum and English language arts experience over this past semester of spring 2016. One of the major things that shapes how we teach our learning theories, whether we recognize them or not, they're major theories developed by psychologists over the years, and they really shape how we think about teaching. So one of these major theories to start with is constructivism. It was developed by Vygotsky, Piaget, and Dewey. And it says that learning is an active, constructive process. It says that the learner is an information constructor. They're constantly building on information. Students create their own subjective representations of objective reality. So basically students are able to take in what they're learning and seeing and kind of translate that into how they're thinking about a concept. And it says that new information is linked to prior knowledges and experiences, which is definitely true, because I know personally I think about things in my past and connect them to things that I'm learning now in order to effectively learn the best. So I think that constructivism is going to make up about 35% of how I'm going to teach my students. I really identify with constructivism and think that it is extremely important to build on concepts and previous knowledge and experiences to be able to learn effectively. Another aspect of learning theories is behaviorism. I see behaviorism as more of a management kind of behavior aspect, but definitely plays into learning as well. It assumes that learners are essentially passive, that they're just responding to stimuli. It says that the learner starts with a blank slate, and then they are shaped by reinforcements and punishments, and that these reinforcements and punishments can be either positive or negative. It says that all behavior can be explained without considering mental states or consciousness. And I think that behaviorism is going to make up about 10% of my teaching style and philosophy. I think it's important and will definitely be a part of it, but I just think that students are a little bit more than just passive responding to some stimuli. Another aspect of learning theories is cognitivism, and it was developed by Brunner, Wagner, and Briggs, and it says that the mind should be opened and understood. The learner is an information processor like a computer. It focuses on inner mental activities, and especially says that the opening of the human mind is valuable and pivotal to understanding how people learn. And it also says that thinking, memorying, knowing, and problem solving need to be understood. I think cognitivism is definitely important, and I think that knowing how we learn and knowing that thinking, memory, knowing, and problem solving work and how they play into our learning are extremely important. And so I plan to use about cognitivism. It's about 15% of how I teach my students. Another aspect of learning theories is humanism. It was developed by Maslow, Rogers, and Knowles, and it says that learning is a personal act to fulfill one's potential. It focuses on human freedom, dignity, and potential. It believes that people act with intentionality and values. It believes that it is necessary to study a person or student as a whole, especially as they grow and develop over the lifespan. I really identify with humanism as well. Humanism and constructivism are my two main theories that I really identify with, and I think that humanism will shape about 25% of how I teach my students. Another aspect of learning theories that I think is more new and was kind of unfamiliar to me is that of 21st century skills, and apparently it was developed by Jenkins, Ito, and Brown, and it says that it is necessary for students to practice and master 21st century skills in order for them to succeed in school and life in an increasingly digital and connected age. It says that 21st century skills learning theory incorporates aspects of digital literacy, traditional literacy, content knowledge, media literacy, and learning innovation skills. I love technology. I think it's extremely important, and kind of going along with the mission statement of this learning theory, I think that students are going to need it in order to succeed in the future. So I'm going to definitely incorporate that into my teaching strategies and see it making up about 15% of overall how I teach my students and how I relate to them as well. So those are 5 of the major learning theories. There are lots more, but these are the 5 that I mainly identify with. Constructivism and humanism being those main things that I identify with, and I see those translating into my personal paradigms. I find community, individualization, and connections extremely important, and think that they will be major in how I teach my students. I think community is important so that students feel safe and supported in their classroom, so that they can learn more effectively. I think it's important to implement early in the year and then foster throughout the year through weekly class meetings, possibly on Monday mornings, so that students can gather, kind of regroup from the weekend, talk about anything that they think is important, and then get prepared for the week. I would also incorporate monthly or quarterly team building or development sessions so that students can get together and maybe do something a little bit different outside of how they're learning in the classroom to help them grow as a community and as people. I think it's really important for students to feel safe and supported in their education, not only by their peers, but by their teachers and any other supporting staff that they may interact with as well. As a student, I moved around a lot and could have really used a strong sense of community in the many classrooms that I participated in. Finally, another aspect of my personal paradigm is individualization. I so strongly believe in this. I think that students can succeed better on an individual level if we focus on them as a student and how they learn. It easily incorporates differentiation, and it can be implemented through analysis of aptitude, learning style, and grade level testing. I would use those things to help see where a student is on the spectrum of the grade level, how they learn, and then how those things can contribute to things that they might be good at, and so help them recognize their strengths and their weaknesses and how they can be supported and challenged through their learning. I would foster these things through one-on-one meetings and talk about how I can help them, how I can challenge them, and just how they're doing in general, so that students feel supported and that their personal education matters and that they're not just one of a batch. I think that individualized education is important because it helps address the learning gap between students as well as differentiate for different learning styles and accommodate for students that need extra support. As a student, I could have used someone to push me more, and I hope that I will do that for my students. Finally, I want to talk about connections. This topic is meant to be synonymous with bridging the gaps between content areas. I know a lot of traditional teaching has said, oh, science is a subject, math is a subject, and those subjects don't interact. Well, I disagree. I think they should, and I think when they do, that learning is done more effectively. I am working on a project. So, connections. Connections are meant to bridge the gaps between content areas. I think that subjects aren't meant to be just science and math, but when you bring those subjects together, it helps students learn better and think better and be able to promote life skill applications and higher level thinking. It cultivates student ability to see how subjects can work together, and can combining subject matter into more complex and effective instruction can also be more efficient for teachers as well. I think that making connections between subject areas is practical and effective, and I wish my teachers in elementary school would have done more cross-curricular projects. So those are my personal paradigms. And so as I move on to English language arts is the foundation for all of these subjects. There's no math or science or social studies really without reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Aside from teaching classic English language arts subject areas, I plan to incorporate ELA into all subject areas. Like I said, it's already foundational to these subject areas, but I plan to especially emphasize the aspects of English language arts in various ways. I would do this by incorporating speaking and listening skills, especially because I think speaking and listening skills, especially in elementary school, are often neglected. And so I think that helping students be able to speak effectively and listen well are important aspects of English language arts that I hope to implement in my teaching strategies. Aside from reading and writing, which are essential and massive aspects of not only English language arts, but science and math and social studies. So I see English language arts as being the foundation for how I teach everything in my classroom. And it's always been that way for me as a student as well. I've always seen English language arts kind of as the basis, and as I did well in my reading and writing skills, then the skills in other subject areas followed. So yes, that is my theory to practice project. This is my one reference that I really used. It's learningtheories.com, and it's what helped me be able to understand and explain the learning theories articulately, and it was a really great resource. So that's my project. I really enjoyed having practicum and English language arts be so close together and be able to see English language arts throughout not only my practicum experience, but also how I'm going to be able to teach my students. Thanks for listening.